Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. I'm here with Laura Heck. Today we are taking a listener question and kind of messing around with it. It's from Elizabeth, one of our super fans. Laura and I both know Elizabeth personally. She was on the podcast with her husband Steve a while back, and she just got a question about how to kind of continue to do marriage, relationships, parenting as you get older. And we talk about that. We talk about a lot about differentiation, how that works, and I don't know, it's fun just to bat it around. We love getting questions from you. Please send them in. We also love getting support from you. As you know, we are in the middle of a pretty significant Patreon effort. We are trying to grow that side of the kind of Marriage Therapy Radio business in order to keep the lights on and continue to bring quality content. I want to thank all of you who have participated so far. Big shout out to Melissa and Omner and Nicole, to Hannah and to Susie. I also want to thank Edna, who I think makes a cameo in this episode. And finally, Jonas. Jonas contributed Swedish kroner. So we get, he's become a member from Sweden, apparently. So that's pretty exciting. Nice to know we have folks all over the world. We do need your help. And that is, we're going to keep talking about it just because it's kind of the reality of the situation. In order for us to continue to do the podcast, we need to figure out how to pay our bills. So again, thank you for those of you who have come on board. If you haven't done that yet and you are inclined, we have got a lot of cool options available for you in terms of behind the scenes content. You can check that out at marriagetherapyradio.com. There's a tab, it's a Patreon tab. And again, we'll say thank you. And for now, we'll bring you this conversation in response to Elizabeth's question about how to mom. This is a very cool conversation. Stick around.
How about New York? Are you going to come to New York and watch me do the marathon?
You're going to run the New York Marathon?
Yes. Come on now. You knew this. I remember what I wanted to do. I have been thinking about this a lot, and I'm bummed that I haven't said it.
I'm not coming to New York.
No, I don't want you to come to New York.
Marathon.
No, don't do it.
The New York Marathon is the worst marathon to spectate if you love somebody, because it's just a straight line. It's just out and back. You see them twice.
You can only see them. Yes. Yeah. I agree with that. But what I wanted to say is I have been feeling a lot of love from our listeners, and we've had a lot of donations come in for Holden. I haven't mentioned it in a long time, but we're talking about the New York Marathon. So I'm running the New York Marathon, part of what's called the NF Endurance Team. NF is, I don't even know how to say it. It's my son's diagnosis that a year ago he was diagnosed with, and it's a rare genetic disorder. It's
not fun.
It is not fun. That's right. Type 2 fun. NF2.
Super not fun. Not fun squared.
It's true. And so I've joined this team. Part of joining the team running the marathon is raising money for the Children's Tumor Foundation. Children's Tumor Foundation.
Stuff.
Thank you. Good.
Raising money to fight evil.
That's right. We've had a lot of listeners who have donated, and I have been really feeling the love. And I constantly forget to be able to verbally express to our listeners that have donated on behalf of my running, on behalf of all of that, Children's Tumor Foundation. Thank you for those of you who have donated. Thank you in advance to those of you who want to donate. You'll find that information on our website if you're interested. There's lots of super cute pictures of Holden, or as Zach likes to call him, Hold On.
Hold on,
my 9-year-old. He's doing really well. He's going to be going in a couple of weeks. He gets another scan. They're set up every 3 months to just take a look at his tumors in his brain and spine, see how they're growing or not growing. Fingers crossed with all of the treatments that he's receiving, that the tumors are not growing. That's the hope, is that we can just continue to keep them small so that they don't impact his little body the way that tumors on your spine and in your brain can. So I just wanted to say thank you. I think about you guys a lot, who have donated and who have just like holding us and our family in your hearts. So thank you. Okay, on to other things. Here's what I wanted to think about. We had a listener that sent an email in basically asking for resources.
We're just going for it. We're not even going to talk about me.
Freaking Zach.
I got nothing to talk about. I got
Yeah,
nothing.
you do. How's the swimming going?
I'm swimming a lot.
That's new.
It's I'm into it. It actually feels really good, and I'm building my yardage up. But the other thing, did I tell you this? I got books.
I'm Googling yardage versus meters, by the way, because I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about you being right and you not being right. First of all, the pool that I swim in is 25 yards. So if you go ahead and Google it, and then we'll figure out
what's the name of the pool?
It's just a standard pool. It's Klahia Swim and Tennis Club.
Okay.
But it is a standard swim team pool. We need to talk about
Bougie.
Bougie.
Okay.
Our mutual friend is upset because he thought you were trying to make me feel silly because I used bougie wrong. But he has a different take on it. Did you read his take?
I mean, probably read it very briefly, but
how did it go?
Basically
Tell me,
said
how did it go?
He said that according to, and he went way back into like according to Marxist theory or something like that, bougie, and then it was like the origin, however you pronounce it. So I just want you to know that my eyes rolled so far into the back of my head when I read that I stopped reading. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
And your belief
You're
of
like,
bougie.
okay, just got this email, delete.
Yeah, I was like, cool. I'm so glad that you spent a lot of time. At the time, I didn't realize that it was from our mutual friend, and I just thought it was a listener. And I thought, hold on. Is this the type of listenership that we have?
Yeah.
Because if that's
I think
the
that's
case,
the thing that he doesn't quite get. Like, he's like, people aren't going to understand. I go, people understand. You don't understand. You have a uniquely powerful brain, and sometimes you over-rev on things that are
powerful brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the world is better for his powerful brain and his artistic ability. But I do not think that the common listener of Marriage Therapy Radio I bet they're like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about bougie.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to lay. They're just
probably like,
land.
you go, Laura. Way to go.
Yeah.
But go ahead and finish Googling about how long the pool is, because I'd like to hear you explain that to our listeners.
I'm going to Google it right now, actually.
Go for it.
But it's going to take me a little bit of time. So what else is happening with you? I'm really genuinely curious about how your life is going.
Well, like I said, I'm super, I have been unusually busy fall, but I'm excited about the summer for now because I get to just kind of hang out here. We're not traveling, which is nice. Everybody's here. Abby's home, Mary's home, Rebecca's home. And
so many
we're
kids
just
are
goofing
home.
off. This weekend, we're going to go see the Avett Brothers, which is kind of cool. They're coming, by the way, to Bend. You should go see them.
I know. I am seeing them. That's the only concert that I'm paying for. Because here's the thing. And when you come, you'll be in September. When are you coming?
Like first week of September, 13, 14 maybe.
13, 14. Okay. We could probably float. So the amphitheater is right next to the river. And what I like to do is I like to poach the concerts by floating and then docking. And not paying for a ticket, which is like $100. But I am seeing the Avett Brothers.
Avett Brothers.
Right. I will be at the Avett Brother concert.
Why do you do that?
Why do I do what?
Why do you pronounce it wrong on purpose?
Because that's the correct way to say it is Avett, not Avett.
That's not how they say it. That's not how they say their own name. So that's weird.
I'm really trying to talk and at the same time Google how far the Klahia, is that how you say it?
No, just Google like how far is a swim lane? Like how long
it's not
is
yards,
standard...
it's meters. How
Go
long
ahead.
is a
Go ahead and
standard
find out. Swim
United
lane.
Swim lane?
Yeah,
swim
or a pool
lane.
When Anyway.
Son of a bitch. Hold on.
What happened?
Most pools used for lap swimming are 25 yards long.
Oh my goodness. That is so bizarre.
How long?
It's weird that the guy who actually swims in a pool would know how long the pool is. That's so, like, what are you supposed to do about that?
Hold on. What is the size of a standard swim lane? This one says, so pools are usually made exactly 25 meters long. We're getting two if you are
Mhm.
an expert on pool length, yards versus meters, can you please email us and settle
Oh
this
my gosh.
discussion?
Okay.
So I thought I was wrong, but now I know that I'm right until proven incorrect.
That is not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Avett Brothers, I think I'm glad you're going to go see that show. They have a song that's on the list of lyrics that move me. So there's one. Did I tell you about this already?
You brought to tears that
Yeah.
you cry with lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all the same lyric. And I don't know if I said this to you in detail, but it's all about sort of lostness and foundness is the kind of the theme that happens.
I don't think you shared that on the podcast. I think that was a separate private pre or post
Maybe
conversation
I'll have to
that
do
we
that.
had.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll write a little Patreon post for all the people who have committed to supporting us behind the scenes. So
Yeah,
and say,
and
here
give
are the
them
lyrics
a
that
little
move me, and here's why they
insight.
move me. The thesis
Yeah.
of that whole thing is that I found a friend of mine pointed out to me that I was playing music for her, and she said, all these songs that move you, they're the same song, they're the same lyric, they all have the same
Yeah.
theme, and so I accepted that as true. And then I was like, I wonder what information is available to me. I've actually learned quite a bit, but Cliff Notes or like spoiler alert. The theme of the lyrics is again about lostness and foundness, and there's something about that for me that is really important that I haven't quite put my finger on, but I'm happy to explore that behind the scenes at Patreon. We got a lot going on Patreon. We're excited about it. I think it would be really cool if you have not joined that community to please do that.
Can you tell me about your book club that you want to have? Like,
Yeah.
can you just explain to me
100%.
what you intend to do and what book is you're thinking?
Yeah, totally. So just so you know, we sort of set it up so that you can kind of buy us a cup of coffee. So $3, you just kind of get email updates from us or just kind of behind the scenes looks at what's going on for us. We got another one about, we have a little series that we're starting to build called So I Married an Axe Murderer, except instead of an axe murderer, it's a relationship specialist. Starting off with a conversation that we're going to have with Rebecca, who is always the number one interview request along with Ryan. So we're going to record episodes with those guys. By the way, if you are a Patreon person or you become a Patreon person, go ahead and submit to us through Patreon your questions for Rebecca and Ryan. We're going to prioritize those questions for people who have joined the Patreon community in case you were looking for a reason.
We're going to prioritize, but also we will ignore the questions that we don't want our partners to out us on. There will be a filtering process.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, but we'll stay. That's just consider that a perk for those of you who have joined up in that level. Like we want to know what you want to know from those guys. We also have a couple of other really cool interviews with different relationship specialists. Laura's going to recruit John and Julie Gottman if she gets the courage. So I'm throwing that down.
I'm talking to them in 30 minutes, so I think it will
Today?
probably happen. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
know.
realize that was today. And then there's a third level, which I'm actually pretty excited about, which is I wrote this book in 2019, basically, called The Marriage Therapy Journal. I wrote it for my clients who were always asking for homework. They wanted to know, is there a way that I can do this? Like, can you help me? Can you tell me what this is? And so I wrote a book that was really meant to sort of track the way I think about therapy with my clients. And I was really excited about it. I spent a lot of time on it and I loved it. I invested in the art and it's a really fun, good looking book. I published it myself on February the 29th, 2020. And I was ready at that point to lean into some pretty heavy marketing, including a book club. And then you might remember right about then, there was this weird thing that happened on the planet that basically turned everybody into a homeschool teacher. And so I was no longer able to be a book marketer. I had other priorities, like wiping my groceries down before I brought them into the house and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. Do you
remember
remember?
that? I know.
Yeah.
It's the
You're
worst.
like a wet wipe. I actually block out all of COVID. I have your book in front of me right now. Who did you get to do the art?
I have a designer in Nashville, actually.
I'm reading, by the way, this is my copy. This is what you said to me. It says,
Did I sign
Laura.
it? You mean I signed it?
You did. It says, Laura, thanks for being a pretty okay friend, sister, and partner. Much love, crossed out, let's see here, Zach Brittle, April 2020.
Yeah.
That is at the heart of our of
Yeah.
our relationship right
April
there.
2020. So there it was. I was like really excited about this book. I was giving it to everybody I could. I signed copies.
Yeah, the art is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
look at this.
Yeah.
It's
There's 4 horsemen
very
right
cool.
there.
Yeah, those are your 4 horsemen.
Anyway, the designer's name is Lindsay. She also designed the Relationship Alphabet, my first book. It was a delight to work with her, and she got really into it and created some really cool images for the book. And I wrote it to kind of people to like mess with. I wanted them to write in it. I wanted them to scratch things out and circle things and have ideas. And so it's called the Marriage Therapy Journal. There's lots of spaces to write and reflect. There's little mini questions. Some of my best dad jokes are in there, which I'm excited about.
I sent you a dad joke. Hold on.
Did.
I've been dying to say this one on the podcast.
Can we not do that? Can you save it till I'm
Please?
done with the serious part of my life?
Oh, all right, fine.
Or let's put it this way: the appropriate part of my life. Can I just do like kind of, and then you can do your inappropriate part. So I never got the book club off the ground because it was COVID and nobody was really doing that, and so that it just sort of took a back seat. And then the book is just sort of, I don't know, man. It's sort of sad. I mean, it's not on the scale of things that were sad about COVID. It's pretty low. But what is really cool is here we are. The book still exists. I think it's still a really great resource. We have a tier at the Patreon level, which is if you want to go through the book kind of in a collective way, I'm going to about every other week send an email with a chapter from the book and some thoughts about why I wrote it, what I think it's helpful for. Once we get rolling, there will be kind of a crowd of people who are doing this. And if you send me questions, I'll respond to them and I'll say, here's what it's like. And maybe you can send some of the reflections that you wrote down inside of the book. I think there are some really cool like approaches to thinking about your relationship that I would like to hear other people respond to. So I'm hoping we have a group of, what's that?
We should probably put a date on the calendar. You have an idea of when you want to do this?
I'm going to start it in July. It'll start in July.
So people need to get the book before July.
No. Nobody needs to get the book. You don't have to get the book.
No. Okay.
Incidentally, if you do buy the book, which I think you should, and doesn't, I mean, I think I make $3 or something when you buy the book. What's cool about publishing a book by yourself is if you bought the book today, Laura, if you went on Amazon and bought Marriage Therapy Journal, they would print it tonight and ship it tomorrow, and you'd have it in a couple of days. Like it's print on demand, which is amazing. I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send out a chapter. I'll send out a PDF of the chapters.
Got it.
And, so you'll have it. You don't have to buy the book. But, those of you who lean in and participate, I think you'll have a sort of self-guided therapeutic journey that you can go through with some input from me. B, you'll be a part of a little tribe of people who are also interested, and you can kind of crowdsource the wisdom that comes from that. And I just think it's, honestly, for me, it's a little bit of a passion project to finally have an opportunity to promote and push this thing out in a way that will be helpful. So we created a tier on Patreon. I think it's $13 a month that you can kind of join that piece of the equation. And I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe July, August, certainly this summer. I need it. It's a little bit of a soft commitment here. What might actually happen is I kick it off kind of like the school year would. Like it's the book, the cover of the book looks like a composition notebook, which I think is clever. Lindsay did a great job with that. So maybe it'll be more like a school year project that you can sort of take on so that you don't have to worry about being on vacation or whatever else. I'm not sure exactly. But the way to get on board is to go to marriagetherapyradio.com, click on the Patreon link, become a subscriber at the $13 level or more. And speaking of the or more, I say this every week. There are those of you who can give $25, $50, $100 a month and never blink. Rebecca and I are going to do that. That's a commitment that we've made, is that we are coming in to support Marriage Therapy Radio just because. And if you want to do that, I would encourage and invite you to do that. We actually need a handful of folks to kind of come in just because they want to support the work and they want to support people maybe who can't afford to donate or participate. Because again, we're just trying to do a good thing without being cheesy or influencers or playing the marketing game. We're really trying to move away from that. It just
That's my desire. That
it
is
doesn't
100%
turn us on.
where
and
I'm
so
at.
we really just want to lean into value. And I think the book will be of value. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be really cool. So
Cool.
that is the answer to your question.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell your terrible joke?
I would now. And,
Okay.
and exactly what
disclaimer.
I said was going to happen.
Zach has
Yes.
nothing to do with this joke. And when Laura told me this joke, I wrote her back, we are not friends anymore.
Well, apparently, I guess we are friends because your signature in the book was with love, crossed out with like.
Yeah.
I actually lost, I think, the joke that I sent you, but it was
I can tell you the
something
joke
along-
and you can say the punchline if you want.
Oh, hey, Zach, what's the difference between a fridge and a butthole? A fridge doesn't fart when you pull the meat out. Okay, hold on. I want to freeze frame on your face because if you want to know what contempt looks like, it's when the left corner of the mouth actually raises and
The
Zach
left
is
buccinator
smiling.
muscle.
He's smiling in such a way where the left side is up a little more than the
Yep.
right, and that's how I know that he does not like my joke
Yeah.
or me at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know where I found that joke. I thought it was
You found it in the
inappropriate
garbage
enough.
is where you found that joke. You found it in the gutter or the toilet.
Okay.
That's where you found
Here's
that
what I
joke.
want to talk about.
Okay.
We had a listener who wrote in, and I thought it was really interesting. What they were looking for were resources. So if you happen to be someone who's like, yes, I have a resource for that. I know we're going
I
to
do have a
crowdsource
resource
it.
for that. It's called the Marriage Therapy Journal. And if you go to Patreon, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Stop.
Okay.
The question is basically like, what do you do? Particularly, this is a boy mom. What do you do when your child grows up, sort of leaves the household, partners, and you become less and less of a part of their life? Like you are less important because at one point you are the sole creature that this little person loves, adores, and I'm still in that space and I'm soaking it up. Like my kid finds me the first thing in the morning, comes, puts his body on my body, we snuggle. He just thinks I'm amazing. And then I get this email from this woman that's basically like, what do you do when you feel like you are discarded? Like not only are you not as important and having to jockey for position with their now significant other, but now also having to jockey for position with the significant other's mom. Does that make sense? And so I started to think about that and I was like, oh, you know what? I bet that's really a challenge. Like I am very close with Judy Heck. And I wonder how my mom feels about me being so close with Judy Heck. So I wanted to, one, ask if any of our listeners are like, I am a therapist and this is exactly
Have
what
you
I
done
deal
good
with.
work around helping moms make this transition? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I also wanted to talk to you about it because you may be nearing that sort of area with your own kids.
I tell you what, I have, okay, first of all, this is not just a listener. This is Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a committed, passionate follower and investor in you and in me and in Marriage Therapy Radio. She was on with her husband, Steve. And we,
that's Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was her who sent the email in.
No, totally.
Oh,
well,
gosh.
the clue was that she texted us. Like,
That's
so
really
the
funny.
listener has your text number and she like, hey,
got it.
And, you know, I know a little bit about Elizabeth's stories. I think they have 4 boys and she is really trying to figure out how to manage this transition from being a mom and that being your primary identity forever, you know, and then all of a sudden you're displaced in that role. And I think that there's an embedded question, of course, about how do we understand our roles? How do we understand our identities? How do we do that? And there's probably, and I would not be the expert here, some very specific insight about that for moms of boys who are being displaced by women that are wives. And then, you know, maybe even those wives' own mothers, and they become like maybe they go from first to third in a hurry or something. Like there's probably some very specific resources about that. That I wouldn't know about, but I do think this identity transfer is really challenging for people, particularly in the marriage space around empty nesting, or frankly, becoming parents for the first time. You know,
It made me think a lot. I was just Googling because I wanted to get the names right, but it made me think a lot about the Couples Institute. So actually, I don't think we haven't aired that episode with Ellen
Nope.
Bader, right? Yeah.
That episode will come out on Patreon as part of our So I Married an Axe Murderer series.
Yeah.
Except instead of an axe murderer, it is a relationship specialist. Now, Ellen Bader and her husband, Peter Pearson, started the Couples Institute, which you're about to talk about.
Yeah. And so they talk about like the developmental model of when you partner with your person, kind of the enmeshment that has to occur initially when you have two separate individuals that become enmeshed. And then eventually you have to kind of create this differentiation. Same thing that like when kids are really small, there is an enmeshment that has to happen between mother and child in order for that child to survive, to get the nourishment. But then what ends up being kind of the first crisis point for a lot of parents, and you've gone through this in like the last, I would say 3 or 4 years. And it's been really interesting talking to you because you were very, very close with your daughter. But there has to be this separation of identity between parent and child when they hit their teenage years. So you see a lot of kids start to pull away. They're in their rooms, their door is closed. And part of that is them creating more independence so that they can go out into the world as independent beings. But we get the first sort of, I would say, almost like defiant sniffs of this independence happening during the teenage years. Once that occurs and kids leave the household, and then they go out and they find their other person, that's another sort of slap in the face or a transition point, developmental transition point that's occurring. Of being able to say, now my child is no longer calling me on the phone from college or wherever and wanting to talk to me and tell me. Now they have a partner that they're talking to. So I think that that's one transition point that Elizabeth was sort of asking, like, whoa, this is different. How do I navigate this developmental milestone? And what is my role now as the mother to an adult child who is now partnered in getting their emotional needs from another human being? So that's one developmental piece. The other one is, now how do I navigate when there is another mother in the picture that is also, there's a new, I would say, enmeshment period that occurs between the son-in-law and the mother-in-law. That's a new dynamic where they're going to have to go through a new period of coming together and meshing and then independent, creating more of an independent identity. So I'm just mentioning that these developmental milestones are occurring not only in the couple relationship dynamic, but also within the family structure between mother and son or mother and daughter, or like in your, father and daughter in your dynamic. That was me talking a lot, but...
Yeah, no, I think, it's funny. It's weird to think about this from this angle because I'm usually thinking about it from the other angle, which is, what do I do about my mom who won't back off, or my mom who still needs to be involved in my life? Or what do I do about the fact that, her mom is wanting so much attention and we spend a lot of time with her and her family, and my mom is sad or lonely, right? There's sort of the other angle because I'm not really dealing with a lot of parents who are trying to figure out what to do about their relationship with their own children. It's more like children who are trying to navigate relationship with their parents. And I sort of go, well, developmentally, period, the process of becoming an adult is differentiating from your parents. Like, it's actually the thing we want for our kids is that they, that they separate, that they leave the nest, right? Or that they go and they and so like with Elizabeth's question, I almost don't identify because I'm like, please leave the nest. Please go away and let me like not be dealing with you anymore, as kind of a little bit of my mentality right now.
Yeah.
But, this comes from, if you're a Bible person, this will resonate for you. If you're not a Bible person, it might not, but just think about it as ancient wisdom. The definition of a marriage in Genesis, like when they sort of first roll out, like, here's what a marriage is. The definition begins with a man will leave mom and dad. Like, and they will be united unto his wife. I don't remember exactly how it quotes, but like the first part of being married is actually separating from your parents. And I think if we're going to be good parents, we need to let our kids do that. And so I know Elizabeth's a good parent, like no question.
Oh,
but part
absolutely.
of being, like sticking the landing is saying, okay, you're gone now, and that needs to be okay. And I will still be available. I'll still be here. I'll still be pro you. I think she's asking a different question about how do I get support in sticking the landing? And again, I think somebody has navigated those waters before. I don't know who it is. I do like the idea of pointing towards sort of a developmental model of being in a relationship, because it does invite a reflection on different phases. Like what is the sort of the infancy phase of our marriage? What's the adolescent phase of our marriage? And here we are kind of in the, I don't want to say the latent or the retirement age of our marriage, but like, what does it mean for us to not, well, maybe retirement is the right word. What does it must mean to retire from certain parts of the role in order to, live a full life kind of with the two of us? So maybe what I'm saying is, rather than, in the same way I might tell a couple not to turn their energy upward kind of toward their parents, I might say to an older couple not to turn their energy downward into their kids, but rather the work of being in a long-term committed relationship at all is to turn your energy laterally into your partner and let them be the space and place that you find, relational fulfillment.
Yeah.
I think this will be an unsatisfying answer ultimately, but I do think that there's enough to chew on and play with in terms of trying to figure out, like, how do we navigate different phases?
Yeah. I want to share just a little bit of personal detail from my own life that, so when I was in high school and all through me growing up, I had divorced parents. My dad lived in Arizona. I lived with my mom full time since I was, I don't even know how old, maybe 5 years old. I can't remember. But in high school, there was a little bit of a shift where I was a little bit more emotionally mature, and I felt like I was parentified in a lot of ways. And I say that, and I hope that I'm using it correctly, in the sense that I became my mother's emotional support system. So she was single, and now all of a sudden I was 14, 15, 16. I was at an emotional maturity that was a little more beyond, I would say, a typical 14, 15-year-old. It happens when you're, the child of a single parent. So I was emotionally mature, and I kind of I felt the weight of my mom's emotional needs on me as a single child, and maybe also as like a female. And when my mom partnered, eventually, she waited until the summer before I went to college. So I was about 17 years old, and she partnered, and there was such a release. And it also happened at such an appropriate time in my life. But I look at it as so much freedom that I experienced because my mom partnered. I felt like now my job is done. Like, it felt like a job to be my mom's emotional support person. And I felt like my job was done and that I could leave and go away for college. And it was the most amazing thing. Now, if you've been following the podcast, you know that relationship lasted about 22 years. And we transitioned my mom out of that marriage after about 22 years. And now she's back here in Bend. And I'm having to actually re-navigate that space that there's because she's single again, and because she's living by herself here in Bend with us, that I'm trying not to fall back into that like enmeshed emotional support person for my mom, that I am her daughter and I'm not meant to be the person that fulfills her or is her all. And I'm only saying this, and I'm not saying this about Elizabeth because I don't know what her situation is, but I can imagine that if I was a mom and I had such an emotional closeness with my child, and that child's developmental need was to differentiate, leave the home, attach to someone else, that would be a very tumultuous, scary time for me of leaving or losing that emotional support. So that was one of the questions when I didn't know that this was Elizabeth, was, if this is really tough, I would probably look inward and ask myself, what is the emotional needs that I'm getting from my child? And Terry uses this phrase, which I really appreciate. When we say Terry, we're talking about Terry Real of Relational Life Therapy. He uses the term, protest behaviors. Is that, are you having some sort of an internal protest to this distancing that your child is creating? And why is it that is feeling uncomfortable? So part of me, I'm sharing this simply to say my mom didn't have a partner to be able to share those emotional needs with, and I met those needs for her. So that's kind of one thing, is like when your child leaves, who is your person that you're able to attach with when your child is no longer the person that you're attaching with? So that's one thought.
Yeah. If you I think this is a fascinating conversation. Like and it's opening. I think I always appreciate being asked a question that I've never been asked before, and being able to think in
something
ways
new.
that I could, or just think through a lens I've never thought of. I mean, I've literally never thought of, and I have had very few conversations about what do I do about my relationship with my kids. I have way more conversations about what do I do with my relationship with my parents, and I'm talking about adult kids, adult parents. So I'm interested in it. Notably, if you're interested in learning more about Elizabeth, they came on last October. It's episode 292.
Cool.
And they're just real people dealing with real stuff, trying to figure out how to do real life. It's the only interview we've done so far with just an actual, just kind of couple.
A real couple. Yeah.
I think you were gone or something, so I did it without you. But it was, they're I think being thoughtful and reflective and investigative about your relationship is a bonus. I'll say what I always say, which is I love my couples in the fact that they're doing something that most couples aren't doing, which is asking for help. And I think if you are running up against something and you don't know how to deal with it, ask for help. Send a text to your people, to your network, and say, who's doing this work?
Yeah.
And then maybe you get to check out and learn something new about Ellen Bader and Peter Peterson, or maybe you, maybe you just find the answer somewhere.
Yeah. And if you
good luck finding the answer somewhere. Turns out Google's not all that reliable because it doesn't know how long a pool is, but it is back 25 yards.
I want for you to ask your people at the pool and say, how should I be measuring this?
I do not need to ask anyone. I have been swimming for 10 years.
Hold on.
20 years. I've been swimming for 20 years.
Did you start swimming in high school?
I started swimming, I swam on the swim team in high school, or middle school. And then as an adult, I swam master swimming, starting in, kind of about 2004.
I still don't think that this is sorted out, because I believe that it kind of depends on what you're doing, which doesn't make any sense to me. But I think that when you were competing in high school, or competing in high school, it was based off of yardage. But here's the thing, like a pool size doesn't change, right?
No, it doesn't. It stays 25 yards forever.
I don't think it's yards. I think it's meters.
Unless it's a longer Olympic size pool. You might be thinking about Olympic size pool, which perhaps is different. But the pool that you let you mostly see, the one that you go to and that has lines on the bottom, and there's a deep end with the diving board. It's 50,
but then they split it in half, which means it's 25 meters each.
Okay, why don't we land this plane? How about we do that?
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. If you're interested in listening to some of these exclusive episodes of So I Married an Axe Murderer, I don't know how we ended up with that as the title. I thought it was So I Married a Relationship Therapist, but maybe not. You can find that on our Patreon page. If you go to marriagetherapyradio.com, on the tab, you can sign up to become a Patreon member. That's where you will also find information to join Zach's Book Club, which is a perk of a tier that I believe he said starts at the $13 level. If this is annoying of us talking about finances, it's kind of just a fact. And I did want to say, which I didn't mention before, I'm not a huge fan of kind of playing the social media game and becoming an influencer and feeling inauthentic. I really just want to do what we started doing 7.5, 8 years ago, which is just providing content to people. And if they find it helpful, that makes me really happy. But I don't want to have to do what a lot of other people have to do in order to keep the lights on. And so we're going to go this route and see if we can make it work. So thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for being a part of our support system, and really just kind of supporting others around you in thinking about their relationship in different ways. So thank you for all of your time and your attention, making your relationship better today than it was yesterday.